6 years ago this month, 7 News made a map. We used data from Upstate law enforcement to track every major violent crime over a 4-year period to see which places were the most violent. At the time, the answer by far was Anderson County, which had just elected a new sheriff. We asked then Sheriff Chad McBride how he could improve the crime rate and promised to come back and follow up. He recently reminded me of that promise, so we're back with another 4 years of Upstate crime data. And we did find some encouraging trends. But there was one thing, not just in Anderson County but statewide, that jumped out of the numbers and demands our attention. We have a problem with kids and violence. We're looking for Anderson County hotspots, the places deputies say we're most likely to find and track violent crime. Deputy Stephen Molesky is on duty at the wheel.
This is Q Street. Q Street and R Street are one of the two of the most problem streets as far as any type of shooting or retaliation.
We're in the car less than 30 minutes before Molesky gets this call.
Shooting with injuries going up Abbeville Highway. They believe there could be children in the vehicle as well.
We've been tracking violent crime here for years, especially murder and the most serious assaults.
For their data on the most violent crime.
6 years ago this month, we combined 4 years of data to find Anderson was by far the most violent county in the Upstate. At the time, Sheriff Chad McBride had just taken office.
When I tell you these numbers, do they surprise you? No. Why not? I think people can feel it.
So now, do you think that's still the case?
I think, where we have been able to trend property crimes down, in effect, fewer burglaries and larcenies and stuff like that. And I think people have felt that there's fewer of that, but obviously the increase over the last couple of years in violent crimes concerns all of us.
Anderson is still dangerous, but not in the same way. Now, much more in line with state and upstate trends. Property crimes are down, sharply in some cases, perhaps in part because the sheriff nearly doubled patrols, and most violent crime is down. Compared to our last 4-year study, serious assaults in Anderson County are down 4.5%. But in South Carolina and in Anderson County, it's the murders. South Carolina's murder rate is the highest it's been in 30 years. In 2010, the state law enforcement division says there were 265 murders statewide. By 2021, that number had more than doubled. Anderson County Sheriff's Office worked 46 of them in our first 4-year study. This time, no change. Another 46 people killed. On average, about a murder a month.
You could probably put a police officer on every street corner and they're going to find a way to try to kill their intended target.
That is grim.
Most of these crimes are being committed by 15-year-olds, 16, 17, even on up to young 20s. That's a major problem, because who is accountable for these? These are kids. For the most part, these are children out here committing these crimes.
Not only do the numbers support the sheriff's claim, but it's not hard to find young people who know the truth.
We keeping it blunt.
Isaiah Allen is a 16-year-old sophomore. We found him through a youth program called Proverbs Mentoring.
I feel like some of them think that's the life. And I think some of them really think they don't have no other choice. And I feel like for the ones that feel like they don't have other choice, I feel like they need to know that they do.
Proverbs is based at the Westside Community Center. Don Peppers launched the program 18 years ago, and last year expanded into a partnership with an online school called SC Prep.
It takes constant reminding to speak to their purpose, to speak to the value and the worth that they have in order for them to overcome some of those barriers.
Peppers says he's known local children killed by violent crime, some among those he tried to help. And so has Isaiah.
It's indescribable. I don't even know what to say. Worst pain ever. I don't know how to explain it.
Just last year, in January, a 15-year-old was shot on Gordon Circle. In July, a 19-year-old died from a shooting at the Anderson Mall. One teen shot another at a gas station in August. A teen girl charged with a fatal shooting at this apartment complex in December. In fact, just this month, Anderson County deputies say a 16-year-old shot another teen on Foster Street. If more cops don't stop the shooting, what will?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't really know how, other than to keep doing our jobs, keep making arrests, put people in jail. I just think that churches, communities, mentorship programs, they're going to have to do everything they possibly can to intervene on behalf of some of these kids.
Proverbs Mentoring now has 25 students and just added another staff member to handle the growth. But even here, there's recognition these teens need more.
You can only do so much. You can only do what you've been called to do.
They need to get up and do something. I mean, don't they see it's enough youth out here getting shot, out here dying, out here picking up guns, out here getting sent to juvenile homes? Like, it just, don't they see it's enough? It's in your own city, you see it every day. I mean, literally every day. I know it's something you can do. It gotta be.
So maybe it is time to do something, including more mentoring. That shooting call with Deputy Molesky turned out to be accidental and self-inflicted. The patient's going to be okay. We are still working to go through some of the same data in every other upstate jurisdiction, not just Anderson County Sheriff. Those stories will air right here very soon. Already we're hearing from senior law enforcement in the area who echo Sheriff McBride's concerns. To go through that Anderson County crime data for yourself and to see it mapped in the county, look for this story on WSPA.com.